I'm one of the people that would be called the silent majority that is not being silent anymore because it's just beyond the point of ridiculousness, mind-blowing weirdness. People that, I mean, I know that our friends are intelligent people. It's just bizarre. This obsession with hating Trump. This is coming from someone who used to be considered far left. I, in 2016, was a national Bernie delegate. I ran for state senate in 2016 in Washington as a Democrat. I ran for Congress in 2018 as a progressive independent, on the board of Election Justice USA for election integrity. And I have to tell you, look, those of you who leaned to the left, but aren't so far gone that you can't use critical thinking, I'm talking to you right now because reason, logic, right, will get to the bottom of anything. And let me tell you, recently in these posts on Facebook, what I'm seeing over and over again, people that are saying, oh, Trump is 100 times worse than Biden. And then when those there's people that ask, well, how? Can you please give us facts? And these are people who aren't necessarily decided yet, asking those who are regurgitating the mainstream media narrative of how bad, Orange Man bad, right? But the fact is that they've never done any kind of independent research that would back up the fact of saying how bad Trump is, because all they can do is repeat, oh, well, he just is. That's not an answer. No one can say anything. They say, well, I'm not going to do that. You Trump people refuse to believe any facts. Well, I'm begging you, give at least one. But no one can ever say anything. And these are the ones that never have even looked at his record. Now, again, I was as far left as there could be. I protested on the steps of Congress. I was like, I was hardcore, but I'm a critical thinker. And I'm going to tell you why I'm voting for Trump. I'm voting for Trump because when I was a Bernie delegate at the convention in 2016, I lost my voice screaming, no TPP. I screamed, no more war. And does anyone on the left even know that in Trump's first week, what did he get rid of? He got rid of the effing TPP, for God's sakes. And did you ever hear a mumbling word about that? Anywhere? I didn't. I just recently found that out. He got rid of the TPP. He is an anti-war president. So you progressives, that are on the left, that care so much about these things, educate yourself. How can you continue with a narrative that is not backed by fact? You cannot believe the propaganda-filled media. And let me tell you something about the propaganda. 2012, Obama signed into law H.R. 5736, the Smith-Mundt, M-U-N-D-T, Modernization Act, which allows for the media to use propaganda on its own American citizens. Do you know what that means? That they can lie to you. And it be legal. So they wouldn't have cleared that unless they were planning on using it. So please research just a little bit. Look at what Trump has enacted in policy. You say he's a white supremacist? It's mind-blowing, the media, the way they turn everything around. I went back and I looked at full speeches that Trump gave, and they would take a snippet, flip it, and turn it around and manipulate the narrative. And it's not at all what Trump was saying. Pick your topic. It's honestly the most masterful manipulation and control tactic that I've ever seen in my life. As far as race, Trump funded the top Black universities for 10 years. The First Step Act that he put in, getting people out of prison and giving them a fresh start, where Biden is solely responsible, or not solely, but a good portion. He penned the 94 crime bill, for God's sakes. He's responsible for tens of thousands of Black and Hispanic men that are still incarcerated. The 3 strikes you're out. That's Biden. I've heard him with my own ears on a recording calling Black people basketball playing animals in the jungle, literally, quote unquote, and saying how he felt safer for his family, his wife, that law had been put into effect. He felt safer for that. I mean, listen, people. People tell you who they are. Biden, not only is he a racist, this is a racist, someone who is prejudiced, that has power to affect the people that they are prejudiced against. And someone in his position of power absolutely affected the people who he was prejudiced against. He just said the other day, well, people, I can stay at home because there's Black women that are stocking the grocery shelves. I mean, come on. People want to talk about Trump. The main things they say about Trump is that old stupid comment that, like a locker room comment about how he was saying back in the day, how women, how crazy it is that women, when you're a star or whatever, they let you do anything that you want to them. And that's where the grab him in the pussy comment came from. You know what? People did all these marches with these stupid pink pussy hats because of that comment. I mean, you have any idea the type of things that are said, like in locker room, not to mention young billionaire playboys? That was mild. That, compared to someone who clearly is a pervert and likely a pedophile, looking at how he fondles young girls, which is clearly stated. You could see it in the video of what looked like to be a White House holiday photo shoot. How many little kids, little girls, that he was, touching them in ways that was clearly making them uncomfortable, and even their parents. But because he's in such a position of power, no one really could say anything. They could just awkwardly, move away from him. And how weird and creepy he just smells women's hair. I mean, come on. And there is video that is banned in the US of women that worked for him coming forward that he sexually assaulted. You can't see it here in the US. I have maybe I'll post a link to that. But, this guy is, he's the same old regime change, war-loving, horrible trade deal loving Democrat that wants to keep people of color in victimhood and manipulates the emotions of people. And that's why you have a whole slew of people who have no fact or intelligent evidence to back up the emotionalism of hate that they have for this man. But that's okay. You know what? I represent people like me, the silent majority. There is millions of people that feel just like I do. I'm breaking up with the left, and Trump, you are, it's funny, you are what I thought, the leader that I thought Bernie Sanders was. Let me tell you something really quick about Bernie Sanders. He talked a big game, but when it came down to it, when I went to Philadelphia to fight for him on the floor for his nomination, and he had the audacity to bow down to them and ask us delegates to back Hillary Clinton, You lost those that were like me, that had no faith in politics, but stood up because we thought you were different. You weren't different. You're just a sheep herder for the DNC. You did it in 16. You did it again in 2020. But Trump is the real leader that I thought you were. And he is going to get my vote. And it'll be the proudest vote that I'll ever make.